Hello painters, I am Uto and welcome back to the channel, or better yet, welcome back to another update on my hobby journey. Today I can finally say that this unit of skeleton is finished. It's been a relatively long journey, but I have to admit it taught me quite a few things, and overall I am really happy with how they turned out. But before I could finally call this unit complete, there were still two important models left to paint, the musician and the champion. I was also tempted to replace the standard bearer with an even older model from the same command group as the champion and the musician, but I think I'll keep that idea for the future. For now, I really need to focus on moving forward with the army. I've probably already spent a bit too much time on these first 20 skeletons. As always, if you'd like to follow along with my hobby journey, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel so you don't miss the next updates. And maybe it will also help motivate me to paint a little bit faster. Since apparently I hadn't painted enough bones yet, I decided to start with the musician. He actually has very few covered parts, so most of the muzzle is just exposed bone. By this point, the workflow had really become second nature to me, so painting all the bones went by pretty quickly, or at least relatively quick. The recipe I used for the bone is of course the same one used for the other 20 skeletons. It starts with a base of warm reddish grey, followed by a quick wash of agrax, and then I light with buff and ivory. After that, I moved on to the later and start working on the red cloth. Red, together with black, will be the main color theme for this Vampire Count's army. To be honest, I would have preferred to pick up the dressed version of this musician on eBay, the one with more cloth and armor, but this is the one I had available, so for now I just went with it. Looking back at this week, the musician actually didn't take me that long to finish. By now the process had really become part of my routine, and the model itself doesn't have that many details, which is perfectly fine because it allowed me to move fairly quickly to the next piece, the champion. The champion I chose is an old metal model. At first I actually started painting him with red as the main color, but luckily I abandoned the idea pretty quickly. Then I went back to the original color scheme and chose black as the dominant color, keeping just a few small red details to tie him in with the rest of the army. As we all know, black is not an easy color to paint, and very often it just ends up looking grey. So I needed to find a quick but effective way to create a convincing black for the champion. In the end, using a mix of black and a bit of Spectrum Blue from AK was the choice, and the final result turned out really nice. The armor was painted following the same approach I used for the rest of the unit, trying to create a slightly rusty look using a non-metallic metal style. And honestly, I am pretty happy with how it turned out. The effect is really quick, but it still looks really nice into the model. The original color scheme actually included some flames, but that would have slowed the painting process down even more. And since I'm not exactly the fastest painter out there, I decided to skip that part. To add a bit more color to the champion, I decided to recreate the free hand on the shield as well. This is actually my first attempt at a free hand, so overall I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. On the black background I painted a flame effect, and on top of that I added what is supposed to be a skull. Painting just two models this week was actually a nice change of pace. Even though the musician is particularly very similar to the rest of the unit, it felt good to focus on a couple of individual miniatures for a change. At the same time, I have to admit it also felt like I hadn't done that much, especially compared to when I was painting the 20 skeleton of the main unit. But looking back at the whole week, there was actually quite a bit of work done. Beside the command group, I also finished the skeleton themselves. They were still missing the shields, the rust effect on the weapons, and a few smaller details. And as always, if you made it all the way to this point in the video and you'd like to see how this project continues, building my first fully painted army, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, so you can stay updated with the next step of this journey. And that's all for this week. Happy painting!